I have ended up in academic theology really a bit like the Apostle Paul, as one untimely born. I didn't go into it until my 40s. I pursued a career in law. I'm actually a solicitor. I specialised in property law, and in my 30s I left law and began to do youth work in Scotland. And while doing youth work I became a bit bored and began a part-time theology degree, and became so absorbed and interested that in the end I did it full-time. I did much better than I thought, and I ended up doing a PhD, and from doing a PhD I realised I had a heart for academic theology. But I also decided to become ordained. So I was ordained in my 40s and worked part-time at Hull University in academic theology, and ever since then I've always kept, if you like, a secular job or a ministerial job as well as doing academic theology. And what inspired me to follow this career path was I wanted to integrate what I believed with what my head was telling me intellectually. So I was very keen to have a sort of coherence of faith and life and practice and work, and that's been the great privilege of being an academic theologian. Has the field of theology changed since my time as an undergraduate? And I would say it's changed enormously, because there's been an explosion of interest in intertestamental studies and of Jewish studies. So I'm still rather conventional and understand theology as being New Testament and Old Testament, but it's now a much wider area of discourse, and I think I'm still trying to catch up with the new developments. I think probably two things. One is an experience of teaching at Hull University. I used to teach a course called A Social Scientific Approach to the Interpretation of the New Testament. And there was one particular student who fought the course every inch of the way. He was from a strongly evangelical background, and he regarded what I was teaching as a threat to faith, as a threat to orthodoxy, and a threat to understanding. It wasn't any of those things, because I would describe myself as an evangelical. And every week he would ask me provocative questions, hostile questions, and he was clearly fighting the course every inch of the way. And one week I was lecturing away, and I watched his face begin to change as I was lecturing. And I watched the hostility ooze from him. And towards the end of the lecture, he put his hand up and he said, "Dr. Bash, is what you're saying so-and-so and so-and-so?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Does that mean so-and-so and so-and-so?" And I said, "Yes." And he went silent, and I watched the penny drop. The other memorable moment for me has been to see a book or two or three that I've written actually get to the stage of being printed. And it's a weird feeling when you hold your own book and you think, goodness, I wrote this, it's out in the public domain, I hope people read it. As I mentioned earlier, I've always had a secular job or a job in the church, as well as being an academic. I'm an old style academic. I forgot what they call them. In Cambridge they used to call them scholar priests, and I would say I'm a scholar priest. I have a passion for making academic theology coherent and understandable to people in churches, and I have a passion for making sure that academic theology is also rooted in the faith of the church.